Hey guys, it's Sadie, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build. I love to create replica and fantasy content for The Sims 4, and I'm also creating new items without custom content. This time, in all my hype for the upcoming Supernatural stuff pack, I created a coffin which was home to an NPC called Bonehilda in The Sims 1 and 3. As always, I used the tool mod by Twisted Mexi to adjust and rotate items, but enough for the explanations, let's dive into the speed build. I started out by sorting the catalog by color and collecting some items. As I had a reference, I just had to look for items that represent all the shapes of the original. Something that frames the coffin, something that acts as its walls, and then of course all the details such as the red border with the white doilies and the little window with the candle in the middle. Once I had a little collection, I started with the basic shape of the coffin, using a wand from Realm of Magic, which I first resized and then rotated with the tool mod. I cloned one of the wands and rotated it again to create a gable on top. I saved this as a room, placed it again facing the other side, group selected the wands with the tool mod and rotated them so they would face the right direction again, and this way I had the first very basic shape done. I filled it in with a floor decal from the Get Together pack, which can be rotated and stacked without any clipping, so I use it whenever its color swatches are fitting. As it has a white and a nice muted red swatch, it was perfect to create the walls of the coffin. I filled in about half of it before I noticed that the wands that I used as a frame may be a bit too thin, and so I swapped them for a frame that I created out of rotated base game towels. I rotated one, cloned it, and then started stacking, adjusting the rotations as I go until it looked decent. Once I was happy with that, I saved it and placed it again so I could clone the filling to the left side. I placed the room facing the other direction, group selected and rotated the floor decals by 180 degrees and then pulled the selection into place. Then I wanted to do the same thing with the towel framing, but realized that I rotated by such random numbers that I had to do a lot of adjusting, but thanks to editing it only needs a few seconds until it was done. Voila! The front wall of the coffin was done, and from there things started to look as I had hoped for, and I was thrilled to finally start on the detailing, but just a few more steps. I placed some more towels on the bottom before I saved it and placed it again to create the full frame of the coffin. Same as before, I group selected items and pulled them into place by alt-clicking on an open spot on the ground, both functions of the tool mod. Once that was in place, I started to fill in the sides of the coffin, same item and same methods as before. I put another pair of towels on the bottom and the top, changed the color of the floor details to the red swatch, and placed a curtain from Island Living as a fabric detail hanging from the top. I placed another towel in the middle before starting to work on the joints of the towels, which are representing the bones of the original. I tried out a few things before I settled on the Ironium clump, which I placed two of and rotated the one on the bottom upside down. I was super happy how these really almost looked like old bone joints. I mean, they do, right? I hope you see what I see, but anyways, I copied these to the other side and started to close up the coffin with more towels on the top and added more Ironium clumps to the joints. Then it was time to create the little cutout in the middle, and I did so by arranging a few floor decals into an arced shape. I pulled the cutout into place and closed up any gaps with more floor decals and then added a resized base game window. I also added a red background to the cutout as seen in the original and placed a bottle from Eco Lifestyle to represent the candle. I'll have some better ideas for the cutout in a minute. For now, I finally started to recreate the fabric detail around the coffin and used the base game couch that I resized and rotated with tool to create the first layer. I arranged them along all the sides and placed a rotated ottoman from Cats and Dogs as buttons in between them. Once all couches and ottomans were arranged, I had to create one last layer of lace to the fabric, which I made out of lip balm lids from the base game debug. I rotated it and arranged one strip in the middle and then copied that strip to the remaining gaps. I did the same for all the sides. And then I replaced some items on the cutout. Instead of a window, I used a resized jungle adventure arc and replaced the fake candle with the handy dandy fried lights from the spooky stuff pack. I just had to say that name, it's so fun to say. I covered up the green skeleton hand with the debug stone planter because that green really did not fit, and closed up the cutout with a get-together shelf on the bottom. I changed up the colors on the backside and then the coffin was done. I saved it and played around with the swatches of the items a bit and came up with some more color combinations, but I'm sure you guys can think of even more. This was really fun to recreate and it turned out even better than I expected, to be honest. The coffin is centered on 2x1 tiles and can be downloaded from my gallery without any custom content. The tool mod is not needed to download this as displayed, but of course I 100% recommend checking it out yourself if you like to build. And with that, the speed build is over and the coffin is ready to welcome Bonehilda on the 26th of January. As always, I will leave a link to the build, as well as to all creators I mentioned in the description box down below, and feel free to let me know what you would like me to create next. Thank you guys for watching, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, bye bye!